Greetings. We continue today in part 2 of the name of God, Jehovah Shammah, from Ezekiel 48, verse 35. The glory of God bodily came to earth in the person of Jesus Christ. We know that the mountain that we read about in Ezekiel 11, 22 and 23 is the Mount of Olives on the east side of the city of Jerusalem. John talked about the glory of God coming in the first chapter of his gospel. In verse 14, he says, "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, tabernacled among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth." He said in verse 11, "He came unto his own, and his own received him not." You see, the glory of God came and revealed himself unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But they slew the Lord of glory according to God's eternal decrees and plan. But he arose victoriously and went out the eastern gate of Jerusalem to the Mount of Olives and ascended back to the right hand of the Father in heaven. The glory had departed from Israel. God also gave Ezekiel a vision of the progressive return of his glory to his house, his people, and his city. God has promised to send Christ again someday to dwell with Israel. We read in chapter 43, verses 1 through 5, "Afterward he brought me to the gate, even to the gate that looketh toward the east, and behold, the glory of the God of Israel came from the way of the east. And his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory. And it was according to the appearance of the vision which I saw, even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy this city. And the visions were like the visions that I saw by the river Chebar, and I fell upon my face. And the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate, whose prospect is toward the east. So the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court, and behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house." Now we should compare this description given here in Ezekiel 43 to that in Revelation 1:15, and also that of the book of Daniel. The fire, the voice are used there to describe Jesus Christ. And that day, Jerusalem will have a new name, Jehovah Shammah, the Lord who is there. That is a great promise to Israel. Number 2, Jehovah Shammah is a tremendous assurance to believers today. Matthew 1:23, "Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us." Now, some teach that Isaiah 7:14 is not emphatic about its use of the word virgin, which they say can mean simply a young woman. When it says, "Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign, behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." But the Greek word, Strong's number 3933, is an articular noun in Matthew 1:23, and it is emphatic, meaning the prophesied woman who had never known a man. Oh, what a great assurance this is. When we're saved, Jehovah Shammah becomes our Emmanuel, that is, the God who is there becomes the God with us. Let that truth get a hold of you and never let it go. The book of Matthew begins with Emmanuel, God with us, and ends with the reminder, "Lo, I am with you always."